long as the disciple faithfully follows the instruction and understands the essence of the spiritual master's heart. So, behind every intent of the words, a disciple should always try to find out what the spiritual master wants. For example, Srila Prabhupada, he understood the heart of the spiritual master. When on the occasion of his Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja, Srila Prabhupada had written a stanza in English. That the stanza, if I can remember, Hemanta, you can help me perhaps. What was the stanza? Personality is essence, something like that. Thou have proved. In personalism, calamity, thou have moved. So when the spiritual master just got that, just couplet, he was so pleased, and he showed it to all his other disciples. Look what Ameshwaran has written. He really knows my heart. So in that way, we should always be eager to know what my spiritual master wants from me, and in that way try to mold our lives towards that. Our own individual talent, knowledge, skills, wealth in front of spiritual master has no value. We may be able to speak nicely, but if in our heart we don't have that awe and reverence for the spiritual master, then Krishna is not pleased. So today is a very auspicious day, the inauguration of this ashram, and the happy occasion that Maharashtra's parents themselves are here, and they have opened this, and he said actually the blessings of parents, no one can bless like parents. So to this regard that this house is blessed, and we wish that parents bless also so that he can progress in devotional service, and they also do devotional service following the example of all the family members. So we'll sing Jai Radha Madhava, and then we'll try to speak on this nice phrase of Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, all glories to the assembly devotees, all glories to the assembly devotees, all glories to the assembly devotees, all glories to the Shri Shri Guru and Shri Varanade, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Let's do Mangalasha. Om Ajnanati Viradasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamayam Dadati Swapadambikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuddhapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sarvajatam Sadhana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Sarvadutam Parijanasaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sadhanalita Shri Vishakhamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopikakanta Radhakanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishamanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Bhutay Mahaddev Yanma Puro Devo Nirmaya Shente Yadamusha Purusha Bhute Vansho Dasasho Dasatmata Soram Prashisha Bhagavan Vachamsi Sri Krishna Sharanam Sharanagatam Tathamritam Satatapivatam Bhakti Vedanta Margapandanam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam Sarvaloka Rishideva Janna Prasannam. Hare Krishna. So, His Grace Anand Prabhuji actually had requested me to speak on this subject matter in class. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is the scripture. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada's Gurudev said that if all the books in this world are burnt and only this one book, Srimad Bhagavatam, remains, there will be no loss. So one can understand the importance and significance of this one great scripture by this statement. And over the years, many personalities, acharyas, have glorified Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramanujacharya, Sridhar Swami, in our parampara and also different paramparas. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada actually, when he was going in Jaladuta, then he was, contemplating and thinking that how will I change these natures? And then he very carefully writes those 5 verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, starting from Srimvatam Shraddhaya. And basically said, only through the power of Srimad Bhagavatam are we able to do this. And Srila Prabhupada made the mission of his life to translate and write Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the Antalila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada there writes in purport that like Krishna Das Kaviraj, I have also become old and I am suffering from old age, invalidity, so and so. And like Krishna Das Kaviraj's mission was to complete Chaitanya Charitamrita, my mission is to complete Srimad Bhagavatam. And if for some reason I am not able to complete it, my disciples can take delight that I have given everything in the Krishna book, which is the essence of 10. And Srila Prabhupada actually had given everything in Krishna book and the previous 9 cantos and whatever part of up to 13th chapter of 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we can take great delight just by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Many people have become devotees all over the world. Of course, Srimad Bhagavad Gita is there. But Srimad Bhagavatam gives the love of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavad Gita will give realization, self-realization. But love of Godhead will be given by Srimad Bhagavatam. I remember Karan Khan Maharaj also saying the same thing, that Chaitanya Charitamrita is there, Srimad Bhagavad Gita is there, but Srimad Bhagavatam is the scripture. So how do we approach Srimad Bhagavatam? So this nice verse is there from 12th canto. Let's sing it together. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramaham Sareka Mamalam Jnanam Param Giyate Tatra Jnana Viraja Bhakti Sahitam Naishtarnyam Iskritam Tashrunvan Sukadev Vicharana Paro Bhaktya Vimuchyena. So the Srimad Bhagavatam therefore is said to be Puranam Amalam. Amalam means it's spotless. There is no fault or no tinge of malice or debt or envy in it. And therefore, Yad Vaishnava Nam Priyam. It is very dear to Vaishnavas. And Paramahamsya, who are described as the swan-like devotees. For them, this is the only one scripture which gives the knowledge about Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jnanam Param Giyate. And they sing the glories of this scripture. I remember when once one of the disciples of Janananda Maharaj, he was making his offering, Vyas Puja offering. He actually, I haven't seen him, he joined in Sydney, but he's from some other country. I think, Netherlands or Sweden, somewhere like that. It's a European country. So when he first joined the Brahmachari ashram, they just got him from the street. He just came for traveling. So he was, happy dressed, long hair, and his name was Hansa. So when Maharaj came first time into the temple, when he was there, then he heard that some spiritual master is coming. So that was his first darshan of any, ISKCON saint. So he bowed down, like Dandavat pranam, he did straight away. And Srila Jalanand Maharaj, he, in his usual manner, he just, embraced him, hugged him, put his hand around his shoulder and started walking and started asking, "What's your name?" I said, "Hansa." I said, "What? Hansa?" No. Your name from today is Hamsa. So then next year Maharaj came again, but this time he had shaven, he was wearing saffron clothes, and again on the foyer Maharaj happened to come and he bowed down, Dandavat pranam. So again Maharaj embraced him, put his hand around his shoulder and started walking again, and he asked the same question, "So what's your name?" And he said, "Maharaj, you don't remember?" Maharaj said, "What? No." He said, "Last time you gave me the name Hamsa." So Maharaj said, "Oh, this time then your name is Paramahamsa." So Paramahamsa basically means that they have this ability to extract the essence, like swan has the ability, Hamsa has the ability to extract milk out of dirty water. So the Paramahamsa devotee, they know the essence and the end of Veda, which is like Bhakti Vedanta, we call. Bhakti means devotion, and Vedanta means the ending conclusion of Vedas. So one who knows the ending conclusion of Vedas and also is endowed with love for Krishna, that person is Paramahamsa, and he can extract the essence from everywhere. Essence is what? Krishna is the essence in everything, because he is everywhere in it all the time, Sarvatra and Sarvada. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence for Paramahamsas. Tatra Jnana Viraja Bhakti Sahitam. This Srimad Bhagavatam gives these three things. It will give on Bhakti for Krishna, byproducts of which is Jnana and Vairagya, detachment from material association. Does this verse ring a bell? Second chapter, those verses. Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Radokshate Ahetukiya Pratihata Yatma Suprasidhati Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayatya Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahetukam. So Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. And when that bhakti is without any motivation, ahetuki, apratihata, uninterrupted and continuous, jayatma suprasidhati, then we become fully satisfied. And then what is the symptom of doing this devotional service? Janayati ashu vairagya. One becomes automatically detached from material association, and Jnanam Chayadhayakam, causeless knowledge, becomes endowed in one's heart. So this is what this scripture gives. Even in Padma Puran, glories of this scripture is sung, that when Bhakti, Jnana and Vairagya enter Vrindavan, Bhakti regained her youth, but Jnana and Vairagya remained old and invalid. And when Narad Muni, through the inspiration of Sanat Kumaras, heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Sanat Kumaras in the Badrika Ashram, the effect was so potent that even from that far distance, the Jnana and Vairagya became revived, not to again go back to slumber and sleep and unconscious state. So Srimad Bhagavatam is that one scripture that will sprout bhakti in our heart and awaken knowledge of Krishna and detachment from material association. And once properly heard, then this will never die out. But one should properly hear. And how one should properly hear? Tat Shrinvan Supatan Vicharana Paro. That this methodology, Srimad Bhagavatam gives how to approach Srimad Bhagavatam. Shrinvan, hear properly. Supatan, repeated recitation. Our Guru Maharaj used to say, Patan means Patan Karna. Like when exams used to be there, used to buy heart. And then not only that, but vichara, think about this subject matter. Bhaktya vimuchye naraha, the devotee becomes liberated from material association. So this methodology is what is emphasized on by Srila Prabhupada. So Srimad Bhagavatam is Srila Prabhupada's hard labor. So I remember I've told this few times, many times actually, but I'll tell again. Now when Srila Prabhupada went to Fiji, his accommodation was arranged at this great Jagannath Prabhu's place, which was more comfortable. Jagannath Prabhu wasn't a devotee then, but his brother Vasudev Prabhu was a devotee, and so the arrangement was made. So after Prabhupada had the meetings for temple, length ceremony at Krishna Kalya, then they were having meetings every night for a long time, 11 o'clock like that, and then devotees would go to sleep late. One day what happened, similar thing happened, and then in the morning, 1 o'clock, Jagannath Prabhu heard that Srila Prabhupada is calling. And devotees are sleeping, no one is attending to Prabhupada. So he got up and he knocked on Prabhupada's door and he opened the door. And this is what he basically saw, that Prabhupada has his Srimad Bhagavatam dictaphone on his hand, and Srila Prabhupada is translating Srimad Bhagavatam and giving his Bhaktivedanta purports. So then, at that time, Jagannath Prabhu actually, when he was narrating this to me, he said that, I had seen many sadhus come and go, but, I didn't have faith in them, because I just found them not genuine. But when I saw Srila Prabhupada and saw him like this, then that increased my faith in him, that no, this is one genuine sadhu. So this one genuine sadhu has done so much hard labor to write Srimad Bhagavatam. The only thing we have to do is open and bury our hands into it. So we can actually do justice by, being in this parampara, in this movement, by actually being faithful to Srila Prabhupada's hard labor, which is translation of Srimad Bhagavatam, and reading it daily and regularly. Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya. So Srila Prabhupada did not write Srimad Bhagavatam, he spoke. So you can see, this is how he used to do it. The dictaphone on his hand, this recorder, and he used to speak. And then the disciple next day would start typing, transcribing. In Vrindavan, when Prabhupada was there, he used to actually speak and then himself transcribe. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So this is a lecture given by Srila Prabhupada in Tokyo, 20th April 1972, just 3 months after I was born. So Prabhupada here emphasizes on the Srimad Bhagavatam class and how to approach it. Practice it. In this way you practice one mantra daily. Each mantra will purify you hundreds yards daily. Go forward. These mantras are very powerful, given by Vyasadeva Goswami, vibrated and spoken by Shukadmukhad Drava Samyutam Vitam. That is explained in the beginning. Just like a ripened fruit in the tree is already very sweet, and if it is touched by the beak of a parrot, it becomes sweeter. So we should try to learn, get it by heart, at least one shloka, 2 shlokas a week. And if we chant that, just like you are chanting so many songs, similarly if we chant 1 or 2 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, that will make you very quickly advance for spiritual realization. Therefore, we are therefore taking so much trouble to get this transliteration, the meaning, so that the reader may take advanced step, full advantage of the mantra. It is not that to show some scholarship that I know so much Sanskrit. No. So this is one thing. No. At least this, if we can follow Srila Prabhupada, 1 shlok per week to get by heart. No, at the end of the year, it will be 52 shlokas. Or at least 2 shloks per week. At the end of the year, it will be 104 verses. In 10 years' time, 1040 verses. So again, not to show some scholarship as Prabhupada says there, but no, these verses are very important. It will make us advance very quickly for spiritual realization. Of course, the best of all mantras is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And these verses complement, supplement, and also in themselves are complete. Why? Because when we do devotional service, we'll get knowledge. But that knowledge, whether it is speculation or whether it's reality, is confirmed by Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is about Krishna's personal form, his attributes, his qualities, his pastimes, the glories of his name, the glories of his devotees. And his devotees sing the glories of Krishna, qualities of Krishna. And Sukadev Goswami prayers are similarly like that. So, in that way, we can know and we can become absorbed and we can meditate on Krishna's name, pastimes, form, like this. And these prayers are sung by self-realized souls. So Srimad Bhagavatam actually you can say can be divided into 3 categories. One is history, it is Purana, it's historical account of what happened. And this historical account is spoken in conversation between 2 devotees always. So at first we see setting Sukadev Goswami and Shaunaka the rishis. And within that conversation then is Narad Muni and Vyasadeva. And then within that conversation then are many other devotees like Narad Muni, Lord Brahma, Vidura, Maitreya, and then Vidura, Uddhava, and then many pastimes, Yudhishthira Maharaj, Narad Muni. And in these conversations, the historical pretexts are mentioned. This happened, and then what happened. And within that context, the center is always Krishna. And within those historical contexts, the essence is when devotees are offering prayers. So history told within the conversation, and within the conversation the prayers, which form the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada here mentions that we are taking so much trouble to get this transliteration meaning. So transliteration is what? Word to word. So Prabhupada has given Devanagari, which is in Sanskrit, and then those who can't read that, then Roman equivalents. So even Devanagari is very important. We should, read Devanagari font. If you don't know how to read, then just see it. I remember, Guru Maharaj once chastised me. He asked me to print prayers of unborn child for the sapta we're having here in Sydney. So I left out the Devanagari. I just printed the Roman word-to-word translation. And then when he got the copies, he called me, he said, where is the Devanagari? I said, Maharaj, no one understands it, no one reads it. He said, what? No, Devanagari should be there. Just by seeing it, we become purified. So then I had to redo it and put Devanagari in there. So, and actually that is the reason Prabhupada has put Devanagari. Otherwise, why would he waste so much paper? No, there is a reason behind everything he did. It gives authenticity. It's the language of the demigods. It's the language which is very dear to Krishna as well. And it's Prabhupada's mercy for those of us who don't know how to read Devanagari. Then he's given Roman equivalents. And then he has given word to word. And then translation, and then his explanations in Bhaktivedanta purports. The meaning, so that the reader may take full advantage of this mantra. It is not to show some scholarship that I know so much Sanskrit. No, it is just offered with humility to learn the mantra, because one who will chant the mantra, they are all transcendental vibrations. Just Hare Krishna mantra. This is Maha Mantra, but they all are also mantras. All the verses from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, spoken by Krishna, spoken by Bhagavata also, spoken by Krishna Vyasadeva, is incarnation of Krishna. They are also mantra, infallible instructions. So try to get it by heart. What did he say? Try to get it by heart. At least how many? Two shlokas only. Either you chant by seeing the book or get it by heart. It is all the same. But try to chant 1-2 shlokas daily. Chant. So in this way, they go on chanting these shlokas. Then again, in the second paragraph, the Prabhupada says, so you have to study like that. So many shlokas. I am taking so much labor. If you do not read it carefully, it is not for that I am making business, for selling only, and not for my students. You must all read it like this, practice. Why so much trouble is being taken? Word to word meaning and then transliteration. If you chant this mantra, that vibration will cleanse the atmosphere. And wherever you go, in any part of the world, if you can chant this mantra, you'll be received like God. So in that spirit, why that instruction was there, that we try to learn at least these prayers by heart. So there's 13 shlokas. So in 13 weeks, even we follow one shlok per week, if not two, in 13 weeks we should memorize this. And every day if we'll sing, we'll memorize. And the shloks we have learned, we'll sing again and again and relish it. And then in the new week, new shlok we concentrate on. But don't forget to recite the shlok you'll learn, because you'll forget them after. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye nashtaprayeshva bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate bhuyase.
Namah parasmai purushaya bhuyase.
Sadbudbhavasthana virodha leelaya.
Sadbudbhavasthana virodha leelaya.
Grihita shakti tritayaya dehinam.
Grihita shakti tritayaya dehinam.
Antarbhavayanupalakshya vartmane.
Antarbhavayanupalakshya vartmane.
So these prayers, all these 13 verses have one thing common in them. Can anyone has noticed or realized? You have read it? Very good. Offering of obeisances. Nama. So, in Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned that Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantasya namasyantasya mam bhakya nityayutavapasaste. These are the qualities of Mahatma, the great soul. They do these two things. Satatam kirtan and bowing down before Krishna. And even the last verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Nashanam Pranamo Dukhishamana Tam Namami Harim. That singing of Krishna's names and bowing down before him. Pranamo Dukhishamana Tam Namami Harim Param. It is said that when we bow down before Lord, the miseries of the mind, they become nullified. And actually, to treat depression in yoga, the posture is that of bowing down. Now Bhakti Rasana Sagar Swami, when he was taking one class, he told that when you bow down properly in that yoga posture, doesn't matter you believe in this or not, but if you just do that posture, and you get up after lying down for 5 minutes or something, you'll feel lighter in your mind. So if not for anything, our Guru Maharaj used to say, for our health we should bow down before Krishna. It's all inclusive. Benefits are all inclusive, no matter what the motive is. But here the motive is very pure. He is bowing down because he knows that the personality he is bowing down to is Para Asmi. Para means what? Supreme. He is the supreme, supermost. So remember how Srila Prabhupada mentioned transliteration word to word. So here, Parasmai, the supreme, is translated as the supreme. So we are not bowing down to some ordinary person. We are bowing down to the supreme personality. Now this faith is based on the conviction of this knowledge from Srimad Bhagavatam. And once we become fixed in this, then our faith will not dwindle. Once whose conviction is less, their faith goes hereby when some reverses come. But a devotee who is steadfast, their conviction is based on the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. They will not deter. Therefore, knowing this, reciting this, memorizing not for the sake of knowing, but memorizing why? Why do we memorize? Understand? Okay? That's good.
Realize for the pleasure of Krishna and for our purification.
For pleasure of Krishna and for our purification, yes? For glorifying Krishna. It's kirtan. It's glorification of Krishna. O Krishna, Parasmai Purushaya Bhuyase. You are the supreme personality of Godhead who is Bhuyase. Bhuyase here means what? Complete. Nothing is beyond you. This is glorification. And in such glorification, then our purification also comes there as a byproduct. Namaha Parasmai
Namaha Parasmai
Purushaya Bhuyase
Purushaya Bhuyase.
Again, Purushaya. personality. He has qualities. You know, Nalkuver and Manigriv, they make 6 resolutions before they leave the courtyard of Nand Maharaj. They circumambulate Krishna and they make this resolution. What is that resolution? Very nice. So how you have learned this? Similarly, this is to be learned. So first 2 resolutions, Vani Gunanu Kathane Shravano Kathaya. Through the Vani, Krishna ka guna, qualities, Kathane. So now, what are the qualities of Krishna? Innumerable. So there can be no end to it. So we can go on speaking Krishna's quality and Shravano Kathayam and hearing Krishna's quality. So this is what it is. Krishna's quality. What is the quality here? Parasmai, Supreme, Purushaya, personality, Bhuyase is complete. Nama Parasmai Purushaya Bhuyase So when we bow down to Krishna, it should impress. So of course Srinvan is there, then Supatan, and then Vichara. Vichara means now we think about it. So we should impress on ourselves that I am bowing down to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who manifests Sad Udbhava Sthana Nirodha Leelaya, from whom the Udbhava, meaning the manifestation of material universes, takes place. Sthana, he maintains them as well. Not just by breath, Mahavishnu maintains. And Nirodha Leelaya. And then he again annihilates. And that is his pastime. Just when Mahavishnu breathes out, the universes, innumerable universes from his pores come on. Millions and millions. And that breath is very long. Very, very long. And then when again he breathes in, again everything expands. The modern day science says the universe is ever expanding. That is true. Because Lord Vishnu, Mahavishnu is breathing out at the moment. But they don't know that when he breathes in, then it is contracting. So it is both expanding and contracting. The science doesn't have the time factor to fully analyze this. But Srimad Bhagavatam does that. Nama Parasmai Purushaya Bhuyase Sadudbhava Sthana Nirodha Leelaya Grihita Shakti Titayaya Dehinam So Grihita. So he accepts what? Shakti, Tritaya. 3 kinds of Shakti energy in 3 modes of nature. Raja, Tamo and Sattva. Again, 2nd chapter division. What's the rest? Sattvam rajas tamahiti prakrute gunaste Yukta para purusha eka ihasya dhatye Sthitiyadare hari virinche hareti sanna Shreyamsi Sadvatanor-Ninamsu. So, Krishna accepts these three forms. And then he expands himself through Brahma and Mahesha, who are in charge of the Rajogun, Brahma and Mahesha of Tamogun. However, Shreyamsi means what? Shreya and prayers. Long term. Ultimate benefit. From which form you will get? Vishnu. Sattva Tanor. Sattva, from mode of goodness. Sattva Tanor Ninamsu. So Krishna is not that form, but he expands himself to Vishnu Tattva to represent that Tattva. And ultimate benefit you will get is from mode of goodness. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada had set this program of ISKCON that if you realize it, that waking up early in the morning, Brahma Mudra, mode of goodness, Mangalarti in mode of goodness, chanting in mode of goodness, Guru Puja, Srimad Bhagavatam in mode of goodness, and having prasadam, and then venturing out to distribute books, mode of passion. Some passion will be required. For preaching, you need some passion. And then at evening, again, come back, or Gaura Arati, and then Bhagavad Gita or Krishna book reading, and before mode of ignorance sets in deep, we take advantage of that to go to sleep and rejuvenate our body. And then wake up early in mode of goodness. So mode of ignorance also devotee utilizes. But he utilizes in reviving his body, giving the body the rest. So Prabhupada's whole program is based on this mode of goodness. Why? Mode of goodness is like a springboard, it is said. From bhakti can be done in any mode. But bhakti, when done in mode of goodness, actually elevates us faster. It's like a springboard. From there you can jump to sattva, Shuddha sattva, if you follow it meticulously under guidance of the spiritual master. Antarbhavayanupalakshya vartmane.
Antarbhavayanupalakshya vartmane.
So he is Antarbhavaya. He resides within everyone, all of us. And therefore, this compassion is very much needed towards every living entity. Nalkuver Manigiri, in their prayer, the last thing the second last thing, what do they say? Shirastava Nivasa Jagat Pranam. We bow down to everyone in this Jagat. Why? Because you reside within them. So yesterday actually Maharaj spoke very nicely that our Krishna consciousness movement doesn't mean that only initiated people, they are devotees. No, everyone is a devotee. Anyone who says once Hare Krishna is a devotee. So we should be very broad-hearted, wide-hearted to actually touch everyone. Devotee really means that he is able to touch each and every heart, regardless of whether they are devotee or not. But make them devotee. A father becomes pleased when one brother who is a good son goes out and reaches out to other brother who is not that good, but he brings them back to the father. So similarly, to do that, one cannot be bashful or fanatical. That you only have to do this, then on. No. There is no conditioning. Like example, Maharaj yesterday was very humorous way giving cookie, prasadam, you can give. You can just say, have a cookie. We know it's prasadam, it's made with love and devotion, it's offered to Krishna. But if we tell them that, this is prasadam, sanctified food, endowed with spiritual ecstasy, it will give you Krishna consciousness, they will freak out. So, a Vaishnava, a devotee is, one of the qualities of devotee is what? Starting with D. Daksha. What does Daksha mean? Expert. A devotee is an expert of knowing what to speak, how to speak, and where to speak. He knows what chords to strike that will actually hit the right chords to make that person at least make a step advancement towards Krishna consciousness. And this is how we should meditate on. That how we became devotees. Because someone took that effort, gave us extra mercy. Bharat Prabhu was telling Devnani that the Dr. Krishna Vijay gave him the Bhagavad Gita first. And he said, oh, you just read it anywhere. Doesn't matter. Anywhere you read it. And he used to read it in the toilet. Bhagavad Gita used to read. That was so much time he was doing that. And then once there he realized, perhaps I should not read here. But still, he's a devotee. Joined the movement. He's now full-time in farm, saving. So, Dalamita, Yena Prakalena. Somehow the other, just we have to bring them back to the Father. Because the Father is Antarbhavaya, he's in them as well. But Anupalakshya means inconceivable. His ways are inconceivable. We don't know how Krishna works or how he operates. My Guru Maharaj used to say, I don't know how his holy name has the effect, but it has the effect. Therefore chant. So there may be something we may not be able to understand. Not everything we will understand. And can never know the structure of this house, engineering of this house. But so similarly, we can never know the inner workings of the Supreme Lord. A devotee has some insight. No one can know completely though. Even Krishna doesn't know completely. But still, Krishna gives them enough insight. But the things we don't understand, we should actually appreciate. There are two kinds of persons. One who doesn't understand, they will give up. The other one who doesn't understand, he will appreciate. Oh, of course, I cannot understand because he is supreme. How can a puny intellect of mine understand? I am like an ant. I can never understand. So he appreciates and glorifies. One of the names of Krishna is what? Achintya, inconceivable, which means. So when we don't understand anything in Srimad Bhagavatam, we don't deride it, but we glorify it. Oh, it's Achintya. And when we do like that, then sometimes over the course of time we'll realize that now we understand it, before we didn't. And that's Krishna's mercy. In one of the verses, again, it's mentioned here. He is what? Dhyam Patihi. He is the director of intelligence. He will direct the intelligence when he wants us to make understand. Through our own intellect, we won't understand. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. He says, I give the intelligence to understand. We don't have intelligence. It is actually given. So, things we don't understand, we should remember this verse. Antarbhavayanupalakshya vartmane.
Antarbhavayanupalakshya vartmane.
So here, 5-6 points are mentioned about him. So quickly, what's some of the points? His guna, qualities. Okay, parasmay, superior. Next one. Bhuyase, complete. Yes. Kavin, Purana. No, no. I mean from here, what is it? Huh? He is creator. He creates. He maintains Sanam and he winds it down. So when something winds down happen, we rejoice. That's his Leela. Nirodha Leelaya. Yes.
Anupalakshya.
Anupalakshya, inconceivable. His ways are inconceivable. What else? Grihita Shakti Tritayaya. He accepts the three modes of nature. Three modes of nature are even his. Ama Parasmai Purushaya Bhuyase Sadbudbhavastana Nirodha Leelaya
Grihita Shakti Trinayaniyan Adadavayanupalakshya Varmani
Bhuyo Namasad Vijena Chide Satam
Bhuyo Namasad Vijna Chide Satam
Asambhavaya Kila Satvamurtaye
Asambhavaya Kila Sarvamurtaye
Sam Punah Paramahamsyashrame
Pumsam Punaparahamsyashrame
Vyavasthitanam Manumrikyatashuse
Vyavasthitanam Anumrikyatashuse
Bhuyo Namah Sad Vijina Chide Satam
Bhuyo Namasad Vijna Chide Satam
Bhuyo Namah. Bhuyo means again. So just now we bowed down, and we bow down again. So sometimes we say, "Arey, abhi to kiya tha, fir karna padega kya?" But this is the quality of devotee. Namasyantascha Mam. Always is bowing down. No, one thing I remember about Satyasena Prabhuji also. He was always bowing down. Always eager to touch the feet of devotees. And so similarly, Sukadev Goswami again and again is bowing down. And he's appreciating what? Sat Vijana Chide Asatam. That he does what? Sat Vijana Chide Asatam.
He liberates and removes obstacles.
Yes, of whom? Devotees, not atheists. Okay, the summary is given. His complete form of transcendence, liberator, destroyer, and benefactor. So he removes the miseries, distress, vijana. Chide is the liberator of distress. Asatam, of the atheists. So these miseries which are given by the atheists to devotees, he gets rid of them. And then what? Asambhavaya Akhila Satvamurtaya. And so he further stops the atheists from giving miseries to devotees. So there are times when we'll be harassed, by other persons. So at that time we don't counteract. We just do devotional service. We just do activity of bowing down. Krishna is the one who will destroy the distress and he'll give liberation. And he's merciful to both the non-devotees and the demons and the devotees. Because by destroying the non-devotees, he's stopping them from committing more sins. This is what Prabhupada writes in the paper. Pumsam punah paramahamsya ashrame.
Pumsam punah paramahamsya ashrame.
Vyavasthitanam Dashuse.
Vyavasthitanam anubhregyatashushe.
So he is Sattva Murti, Akhila Sattva Murtaya. What does that mean? The complete form of goodness, transcendence. Akhila Sattva Murtaya. This is one more quality. He is not of this world. He is Shuddha Sattva. Akhila Sattva Murtaya. And Punsam Punaha Paramahamsya Ashrame. So all the Paramahamsya, we already mentioned the word Paramahamsya, they take his shelter. Krishna is Ashray of Paramahamsa. And he gives those who are Vyavasthitanam, situated in that situation of Paramahamsya, Anumrigya Dasuse. Krishna gives them their specific destination. So what is the specific destination he gives to the Paramahamsya? Love of Krishna, love of himself. This is what we are after. No, that bhakti is the goal. So to them he gives them the goal. If only we are up to pious, we want Krishna to destroy our miseries, Krishna will act to that extent. If we are demons, then Krishna will destroy us to that extent. But if we come to the stage of Paramahamsya devotee, then Krishna will give us the ultimate benefit. Therefore, he is the ultimate benefactor. His own love, his own bhakti. So at least that stage we should attain. Even Kunti Maharani prays, what's the third verse? Maya Javanika Tatha Paramahamsanam Muninam Amaratmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidanartham Tatham Pashyami Srila. So she says Bhakti Yoga Vidanartham, that the Paramahamsas, they aspire for this and Bhakti Yoga. And it is difficult for them to attain. And then how will us women, Tatham Pashyama Histriya, attain that end? So attaining this end of Paramahamsya should be, our aspiration. Namo Namaste Svarishabhaya Sattvatam.
Namo Namaste Svarishabhaya Sattvatam.
Vidurakashtaya Muhuntu Yoginam.
Vidurakashtaya Muhuntu Yoginam.
Nirasta Samyatishyena Radhasa.
Nirasta Samyatishyena Radhasa.
Svadhamani Brahmaniramsyate Namaha.
Svadhamani Brahmaniramsyate Namaha.
So here again, Namo Namaste. He is again offering his obeisances. To whom? Rishabhaya Sattvatam. To one who is Rishabhaya, of the great associate of Sattvatas, the members of the Yadu dynasty. The members of Yadu dynasty, Vrishnis, Andhakas, they are very dear to Lord Krishna. What's the history? How come Krishna came in Yadu dynasty?
Vasudev and Devaki was Krishna and Sukadev. So they did the tapasya for long and
Yeah.
they requested Lord to come as their son.
Yes.
They,
So that's part of the answer.
they said they wanted a son like Krishna, but no one can be like Krishna. You can only get Krishna. So Krishna said the next best thing, according to the Vedas, that you have to do you have to be the closest thing to the wish 3 times
Yes.
over.
Yes.
So he came 3 times over from different dynasties as Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what pastime in Srimad Bhagavatam is there in the 9th canto? Yayati and Yayati Sarmishta and Devyani. That pastime is there, where Yayati was cursed by Shukracharya to be an invalid person. And then Yayati, Shukracharya actually then regrets, and upon Devyani's request says that, okay, you can ask someone else to reverse your invalidity for their youth, but they have to become old. So Yayati shamefully asks his sons. So the face of the sons is who? Yadu. So Yadu actually does what? Refuses. Father is asking, and the son refuses. But still, he is glorified. Why does he refuse?
Because he wants to enjoy it. He doesn't want to give his young age to.
He won't be benefited by it. It would be just like not himself. The father as such is just, he's not going to use it for a good purpose as such.
Okay, so that's part. Yes. So,
He was a devotee.
yes, because he was a devotee. So he knew that this youth age, he has to utilize in a certain way, so that the desires can be subsided, and in due course of time he can increase his bhakti. And Krishna became very pleased by that. So therefore Krishna appeared in his dynasty. So therefore he is addressed as Rishabhaya Satvatam, always associate of Yadu dynasty. But Vidura Kashthaya, Vidura means he is always Dura, far away from mundane wranglers, those who are materialists, this far away from them. Muhu Yogina, and he is far away from the two yogis, the non-devotees. And he actually nirasta, he vanquishes them. So we have to decide which category we want to fall in. That we become vanquished or we become elevated. He actually is not of this world. Samyati Shayena Radhasa. So he is enjoying. Radhasa here means opulence. Swadhamni, in his own abode. Brahmani Ramsyate Namaha. He Ramsyate means he is enjoying in his own abode. Now how can devotees enjoy? Similar ways in Srimad Bhagavad Gita is there where these words are used. Tesham
Satayuktanam Rajanam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogantam Yenam Upayanti Te.
One verse before that.
Machita Madgata Pranaya Udayantas Parasayam Katayantas Shamam Vityam Tushanti Charamati Cha.
So when we give our hearts to Krishna, Machitta, Madgata Prana, our lives to Krishna, Bhajatam Priti Purvakam, and with love and devotion we worship Him, and Bodhiyantaha Parasparam, and amongst ourselves we discuss Krishna's qualities, pastimes like this, his activities, then Tushyanti, then we become satisfied. And at the same time Ramanti. Ramanti means we also feel the pleasure and enjoyment. The synonym terms. Here says Swadhamani Brahmani Ramsyate Namaha. So Ramsyate, similarly to Tushyanti Cha, Ramanti Cha. So the devotees also enjoy. Some people say, "Arey, wo to enjoy kar raha hai, hamara kya?" But no, devotee actually enjoys more. There, this word is there, here in the translation. I think yes, this word is used. there is no one equal to him because his transcendental opulence is immeasurable. His opulence and his pleasure both are immeasurable. So similarly, devotee's pleasure also is immeasurable. In this material world, the pleasure we experience is limited and very insignificant. But the spiritual pleasure, Prabhupada actually writes in one of the verses, Brahmam Swakyam Anantam, that it is unlimited. Brahma Swakyam is unlimited. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Anandam Mudivardhanam Pratidam, that this Ananda bliss is increasing. Prabhupada writes to infinitum. So not long to go. Understand? We won't cover all the. So this is the last one, and after that, a bit of commentary. So there in the paper to that verse, 2.6.36. Please note this down. 2.6.36. That Prabhupada there mentions that if Krishna is unlimited, he cannot measure his own opulence, then that means how can he be God? To worse to that effect, he says. Because God means one who can do anything. But here Krishna cannot even measure his own pleasure and opulence. So how can he be God? So Prabhupada writes in the paper, no, Krishna actually can measure. But by the time Krishna goes to measure, the devotees serve Krishna and Krishna's pleasure increases. And then Krishna serves the devotee's pleasure increases. And then in time devotees serve Krishna, his pleasure increases. In this way there is always competition between devotee and Krishna in serving and served. And so the pleasure is increasing to infinitum. And therefore it's not possible to measure. This, rather than being a limitation, is actually a decorative quality of Krishna. That his pleasure is immeasurable. Similarly, devotee's satisfaction and pleasure is immeasurable. Please read that paper 2.6.36. Beautiful paper. So he is in his own abode enjoying, but he comes here to reclaim us and display his pastime so that we can become attracted. Nirasta samya tishayena radhasa Swadhamani brahmani ramsyate namah. Okay, two more slides. Just quickly on this. So this methodology we have been following, and again, Srila Prabhupada, as we mentioned, gave Devanagari, and then Roman equivalent, then word-to-word translation, then Bhaktivedanta papers, and of course we look, Srimad Bhagavatam itself prescribes Srinvan, Supatan, Vichara. But how come Prabhupada is giving word-to-word and all these things? Is he just making it himself? Actually, Chaitanya Charitamrita, this verse is there, explains that everything Prabhupada did, even the way he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and scriptures, he did not do it out of his own accord, but he followed parampara. And the essence of that is mentioned here. So this verse is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22.131. Srimad Bhagavatarthanam Asvado Rasikai Saha Sajatiya Shaye Snigdhe Sadho Sangha Svato Vare. So, translation. One should taste the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam in association of pure devotees And one should associate with the devotees who are more advanced than oneself and endowed with similar type of affection for the Lord. So if you look at word to word, Srimad Bhagavata or Srimad Bhagavata, what? Arthana. Arthana means meaning. So meaning, therefore, Srila Prabhupada has given word to word so that we can understand the meaning of. And then he says, Asvadaha. What's that translation as? Enjoying the taste. So if we don't sing it and don't know the meaning, how can we enjoy the taste? So therefore these words are to be relished in Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, lovingly sing verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. I used to, see that from the time he wakes up, he would be chanting Srimad Bhagavatam very lovingly. Not just like Ved Patan, not like quickly, I have to finish this much. No. Slowly, in his own space, relishing each and every syllable, each and every word. So many nice prayers are there, simple prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam. Namaha Pankajanaya, Namaha Pankajamadine, Namaha Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangrahe. So in this way, we can go on and on, just singing and relishing, asvado. But how? Rasika Sangaha. In association with devotees who have of same interest, same taste, or who know the rasas of devotional service. Sajatiyashe. So here the word Sajatiya is used. What is similar? So it's actually word there is jati. What does jati mean? Caste. So this again nice purport 3:29:17. Can anyone read it loudly?
In Bhagavad Gita, there is reference to Bodhyanta Parasparam discussing among themselves. Generally, pure devotees utilize their valuable time in chanting and discussing various activities of Lord Krishna or Lord Chaitanya among themselves. There are innumerable books such as the Puranas, Mahabharata, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad, which contain countless subjects for discussion among true devotees of God. Friendship should be cemented between persons with mutual interest and understanding. Such persons are said to be Swajati of the same caste.
So, a few years ago when I met Narani Mataji in Brisbane, and she had heard from few devotees that like I had helped Brisbane Yatra establish a program. So she came up to me and she was quite appreciative, and she said, "Oh, your Guru Maharaj, would be really pleased. I met him a few times, and once he had my Srimad Bhagavatam class, he very lovingly came up and spoke to me, and he said to me, 'Oh, you are my Swajati.' And I was thinking, and she said, 'Oh, I was thinking, what is Swajati? What is Swajati?' And then he explained, we are of the same kind. So in this purport, when we look at it, if you look at all our backgrounds, it's different. And similarly, in ISKCON movement, worldwide international body, everyone's background is different. But still we are Swajati. Why? Because our common Ishtadev is Krishna. Our common way of worshipping is Sankirtana. And our common relationship is that of friendship. So therefore Prabhupada here says, friendship should be cemented. Cemented means make it very strong. not that just sand and it blows away. So friendship should be the basis, foundation of our devotional service. With persons of mutual interest. What is our mutual interest? That we all want to advance in Krishna consciousness, but we want to not do it alone. We want to take everyone who is with us along with the journey. And understanding. That understanding should be there. That if someone is lagging behind, not to leave them, but grab them. Such persons are said to be Swajati. So here same word is mentioned. Sajati Yashaye Snigdhe. So amongst such kind of devotees, means similar. Similar in interest. That's what it means. Snigdhe. Snigdhe here is translated as advance in devotional affection. So those who are very affectionate, in devotional, like Satyasyana Prabhu, we're discussing, they're so affectionate, always, how are you, and then how is your chanting, kitne kar rahe ho? Always interested. With devotee sangaha associate swataha, for one's self, vare, better, to better ourselves. And so in this way, Srimad Bhagavatarthanam. So the Arthanam, the words of Srimad Bhagavatam, meaning aswado. Not only we have to learn it, but we have to taste it, relish it. So if we learn Srimad Bhagavatam in this way, Shrinvan Supatan, Vichara, Bodhyanta Parasparam, in association of devotees, saying recite together, then these verses will be relishable. Now we may forget, but then some other devotee will remind, no, here. So each week, at least 2 verses. By end of the year, 104. Or 52 at least, 1 verse per week. So in this way, what will happen? Shri Badaya Nirvacha Evam Vyavasito Buddhya Samadhaya Manoridi Jajapa Paramam Japyam Pragjanmani Anusikshitam. So Gajendra, he had recited a set of prayers in his previous life. Pragjanmani Anusikshitam. But in due course of time, due to Krishna's mercy, he again remembered those prayers. So Srila Prabhupada emphasizes, it is imperative therefore that all devotees in Krishna consciousness practice chanting some mantra. Some favorite mantras, shlokas we should have, which we always relish, recite, sing. And in this way, in the last seconds of our lives, those remembrances may come. And we may be able to perfect our life by remembering Krishna. That is the purpose. Not to show that I know, but to relish. Srimad Bhagavata Arthanam Asvado Rasikaha Saha. So we relish and make others relish also. So many nice verses are there, but every week you'll be doing one verse, trying to memorize it. And it's nice Raman Chaitanya Prabhu is here as well, so he can also some weeks come and take the sessions. Memorize himself and also make others memorize. So please, it will be very nice if you can do it like this. Hare Krishna Maharaj, you have extra homework.
Sorry, Prabhuji.
No. So we were saying that these 13 verses are there, and in 13 weeks we have to memorize it. So they will help you. Any questions, comments? Oh, Hare Krishna. You'll have extra homework.
I'm ready.
So we are saying 13 shlokas we're doing for 13 weeks,
Yes.
and our aim is to memorize it. So one shloka every week. So they will teach you.
I told you just the next verse, just chant the next verse.
Oh, this time.
Yes.
Yat kirtanam yad smaranam yadikshanam yad vandanam yad shravanam yadarhanam lokasya sadyo vidunoti kalmasham tasmai subhadra shravase namo namah vichakshanaya charanopasadanat sangam yudasyo bhayatontaratmanah Vindanti hi brahmagatim gataklamas Tasmai subhadra shravase namo namah Tapas vinodana parayashasvino Manasvino mantra vidasu mangalaha Shemam navindanti vinaya darpanam Tasmai subhadra shravase namo namah So in these last three verses, the last line is the same. Tasmai subhadra shravase namo namah. So the emphasis is on shravase, hearing about the pastimes of Krishna, which is Subhadra, extra auspicious. So emphasis is made on hearing. So all the qualities on those verses will become possible if we hear about the glories of devotional service. And this verse is about the power of association of devotees. Kiratahunandra pulinda pulkasha Abhira Shumbhaya Vanakashadayah Yenye cha papaya tapashrayashrayah Shudhyanti tasmai Prabha Vishnave Namaha So the pure devotees of the Lord, yat apashrayashrayah, they have taken shelter onto Krishna. And Krishna is who? He is Prabha Vishnu. Prabha means his influence is great or powerful. Therefore he is known as Prabha Vishnu. Prabha means his influence. So one who takes shelter of Vishnu comes under the influence of Vishnu, who is very powerful. So if we take shelter of those persons who have taken shelter of Vishnu, whose influence is powerful, then what is the result? Yanye cha papa. Then our papa, due to the power of Lord Vishnu and their devotees, is eradicated. So the next 4 verses, he pleads to the Lord that you please be pleased with me. So we want Krishna to be pleased with us. every devotional activity we do, at the end of doing arti, at the end of chanting our rounds, at the end of cooking prasadam, offering to Krishna, what's the end result? That Krishna should be pleased with that activity. So we have to beg for that mercy and do it in that mood. Sareshatma mavatam adhishvaras Trahi mayo dharma mayastapomayaha Gatapyalike rajashankaradibhir Vitargyalingo bhagavan prasidatam Sriyapatiryagnapati prajapatir Dhiyam patir lokapatir dharapatihi Patir gatischandakavrishni satvatam Prasidatam me bhagavan satam patihi So here the word patir, patihi is used 7 times. So it addresses Krishna as various patihis. So he is Shriyapati, the husband of goddess of fortune, or the owner of all wealth. Yajnapati is the enjoyer of all sacrifice. Prajapati is the leader of all the citizens, populace. Dhiyampati is the director of intelligence. Lokapati and Dharapati is the proprietor of all the universes. Loka and Dhara means this earth. He is also the proprietor of this earth. So all these things, wealth has to be used in his service. Any yagna we do has to be done as an offering to him. Krishna says, Aham hi yagna nam bhokta cha prabhureva cha. I am actually enjoyer of all sacrifices. And Prajapati, he is our leader. So we are his citizens. So citizens should follow the laws. So that we have to follow. And in that way, if we do all these 3 things, then he becomes Dhiyampati. He becomes director of intelligence. He directs our intelligence in the right path, right way. We may not be able to understand, but we will start to understand once we start to submit, because he then directs our intellect. That is what called what? Dadame buddhi yogam tam. So dhiyam means intelligence, buddhi means intelligence. So he is dhiyampati. Lokapate dharapate. And again, patir gatischandakavrishni satvatam. So the Antaka and Vrishni and Yadus, he is very dear to them. And he is the goal of Antaka, Vrishni and Yadus. Prasidatam me bhagavan satam patihi. So please be merciful unto me, O Krishna, who is Satampati. Satampati is translated as the protector of devotees. Yadangriya vidyana samadhi dhautaya. Dhiyanu pashyanti hitatvamatmanaha. Vadanti chaitat kavayo yatharucham. Same mukundo Bhagavan prasidatam. So this verse is about following in the footsteps of authorities and devotees. One can see the supreme absolute truth in France. And O Krishna, please be pleased with me. Again, prasidatam word is used. So begging for Krishna's mercy. Prachoditaye napura saraswati.
Prachoditaye napura saraswati.
Kritanvatajasya satim smritim hridi.
Kritanvatajasya satim smritim hridi.
Svalakshana pradurabhut kilashyataha.
Svalakshana pradurabhut kilashyataha.
Same rishinam rishibhya prasidatam.
Same rishinam rishabha prasidatam.
So, in this way, Sukadev Goswami says how you amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within the core of his heart and inspired him with full knowledge of creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahmaji. So here, the significant thing is that Brahmaji, from 4 mouths of Brahmaji came out what? Vedas. And what is Sukadev Goswami going to start doing? Speak Bhagavatam. So he is basically saying that like how you gave that knowledge to Brahmaji, also give that knowledge to me, that from my one mouth I can speak the truths of Vedic knowledge. I can glorify you. And he addresses here Krishna as in 2 words. What are those 2 words? Last line. Rishinam Rishabha. What 2 words? Of the teachers? Rishabha, the chief. So he is the chief of all the teachers. No, so Krishna is a teacher. It's another quality of Krishna. Krishna explained Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So when Krishna explains himself, who will not understand? If Krishna wants us to understand, why will not we understand? So when we don't understand anything, then we can sing this verse. And we can address Krishna. Same rishinam rishabha prasidatam.
Same rishinam rishabha prasidatam.
Oh Krishna, I don't understand this. But you are Rishabha, Rishinam Rishabha. You are the chief of all teachers. You please explain it to me so I can understand. Prasidatam. That's the most important thing. That you please be pleased with me. Our endeavor to understand, we should do. Whether we understand or don't understand, we should not worry about that. If he wants, he'll make us understand. If he doesn't want, he will not make us understand. And if we don't understand, then we'll take it as Anupalakshya Vartmani, that he is inconceivable. And therefore, it's obvious I won't understand it. And therefore, let's glorify him because he is inconceivable. So in that way, that Krishna may become pleased with us, and then acha chalo isko samjha dete hain. Last verse. And everyone knows this verse. Bhute mahadhiryanima puro vibhu nirmaya shete yadamusha purusha bhute gunasho rashusho rashatmaka solam krishishta bhagavan vachamsine. So he is about to speak Srimad Bhagavatam, and he knows that from Krishna everything comes. So the 16 ingredients, faculty of speaking, tasting, hearing, seeing, feeling, 5 working senses, and the mind, 16. Show Dasha. Dasha means 6, Dasha means 10, 10 plus 6, 16. So, Bhumte Gunan. Bhumte means he enjoys. Actually, it is he who through us is enjoying the faculties of the interactions of senses and sense objects. But when we are in ignorance, we are exploited by the material nature. But when we are in knowledge, we are elated because we know that Krishna is actually the enjoyer. So Sukadev Goswami is about to start to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. And he is the best of all speakers of Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, even though his father Vyasadeva is in the assembly, his grandfather Parashar Muni is in the assembly, but still everyone unanimously said Sukadev Goswami will speak. But look at Sukadev Goswami's humility. He's saying, I can't speak. Until and unless Solang Viseshta Bhagavan Vachansi. Unless and until Shri Krishna Vachansi, my words, Alankritasya, he decorates it. Unless he decorates my words with all the alankaras, decorations of speech, poetry, so that it's pleasing to the hearers. So when Srila Goswami speaks, it's very pleasing to the hearers. So it's a nice prayer before giving class to speak. In the last verse, Namastasmai Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vedase Papurnanam Somya Yanmukam Puruhasavam. Please repeat. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of Vasudeva, who compiled the Vedic scriptures. The pure devotees drink of the nectarian transcendental knowledge, dropping from the lotus-like mouth of the Lord. So Srimad Bhagavatam Arthanam Asvado. So we have to taste this transcendental knowledge which is emanating from the lotus mouth of Krishna himself. Therefore it is said, Parasparam Tvat Gunavada Sidhu. It's like an intoxicating nectar. We drink it and become high for life. Jai Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri
Krishna Das Prabhuji ki
Jai. Krishna Nivas Ashram ki Jai. Residents of Krishna Nivas Ashram ki Jai. Proprietor of this Krishna Nivas Ashram ki Jai. Very good. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, I wasn't able to do justice to this, but there is a class one Mataji posted where we go through all this.